Just letting you guys know you can listen to my No Bleeps podcast anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Spilly and welcome back to Spill Sesh. Today we have got to talk about Trisha Paytas' new video called Addressing Everything, where Trisha in fact didn't really address anything. I mean, Trisha talked about certain topics that are being discussed right now, but in terms of taking accountability for certain things and talking about things that are being brought up about Moses, people were not happy with what Trisha had to say. Now, before we get into anything, I want to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by Vessi. Vessi has become one of my favorite shoes to wear, you guys. They are lightweight and so freaking comfortable in any other shoe. I am always complaining about my feet hurting, but this one I have nothing to complain about. And honestly, the best part about these shoes is that they are waterproof. I literally ran some water on these so you guys can see, and like the water is just rolling right off and the inside of the shoe is completely dry. This also means it's super easy to keep these shoes clean and washing them is a breeze. The comfort of these is a whole other level. Like I said, they're amazing for long days at a theme park, hiking, literally any adventure, anything where you're on your feet for a long time, or even just a simple trip to the grocery store. These shoes are extremely versatile and I know that you guys are going to love them as much as I do. I have the women's everyday in midnight black and I love the way they look on, and they also offer so many different colors and styles of their shoes. So you guys do yourself a favor and go get a pair. You'll never experience having wet socks again. Check them out at vessi.com/spillsesh or use my code spillsesh at checkout to get $25 off of your Vessi shoes. So thank you to them for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into the tea. So basically in this video, Trisha is blaming Ethan for literally everything. Blaming Ethan, blaming the whole H3 crew, blaming H3 the channel. Everything about this is Ethan's fault from Trisha's perspective. And Trisha even says at one point that they started to think that they were the one in the wrong, when obviously that just cannot be the case when it comes to Trisha. But anyways, Trisha says that they take back everything that they've ever said on the Frenemies podcast about situations they weren't involved in, when Trisha was speaking about other influencers and things like that, because Trisha's like, oh, well, seeing how other people are talking about me in a situation that they were never involved in, I would never want to do the same. I would never want to comment on a situation that I've never been involved in. Trisha said that they misspeak sometimes and get information wrong because they don't fact check things, and it's a reason they never should have had a podcast in the first place, and says there's a difference between lying and misspeaking, and that's what happened in the teacher situation. So if you guys have not seen my other videos talking about Trisha, Ethan had come out and said that he had to take a Frenemies episode down because Trisha accused their former middle school teacher of getting arrested for doing something, and Trisha named this teacher, said what school it was. A YouTube channel named Mysterious made a video this past week basically trying to uncover this timeline of every time Trisha has ever spoken about this particular middle school situation, this middle school teacher, and found that when they Googled who this teacher was, that he had a clean record and was no longer living, and Trisha was just saying his name and accusing him of a crime that he did not get arrested for. And because of this video, Ethan was sent it, took the episode of Frenemies down to hopefully stop this family from getting harassed because he's no longer living, and so people were coming for the family. And Trisha was blaming Ethan for constantly seeing this person's name everywhere, for this story getting brought up when, you know, Ethan did not make the video about this whole situation, this whole timeline. Ethan didn't even know that Trisha had misspoken about this person, and Mysterious was the one that actually posted that video. Trisha says that they never lied about anything that happened to them by this teacher, and says that they only spoke out about this teacher because they thought that justice was brought and that he had been caught and arrested for crimes. And because other people had spoke out about this teacher, Trisha felt comfortable sharing their story. Now, Trisha says that they never wanted to lie about anything. They didn't make anything up about this story, about the teacher. They just had bad information. But then Trisha proceeds to literally get information wrong again. It is insane. Trisha can get called out and still get information wrong? Like, I just don't understand. In this video, Trisha says that this teacher wasn't arrested, that they were going to correct themselves and say that he was just fired for having done this thing that Trisha is accusing him of, which people are like, I don't think that is accurate, that this man was ever fired. So here Trisha is, one, saying this person did something and got arrested for it, and now Trisha is saying that this person just got fired for doing this thing, when people are like, there's no record that he was ever fired and or ever did this thing. But there's this Twitter account with this person that has the same name of somebody who was in middle school with Trisha, and this person has come out and said, you know, hey, everything Trisha is saying is true, everything this teacher did is true, 100% this teacher was weird and did all these things and he was fired. And so Trisha is referencing this Twitter account and getting all their information from this Twitter account that is no longer there. I think this Twitter account is deleted or deactivated, and people are just a little confused as to why Trisha can't just like research this information themselves. Like, why would you say this teacher was fired when people are already upset that you said he was arrested and you had false information? Then, like, wouldn't you want to make sure that when you're speaking about it for the final time, or what hopefully is the final time, it's the correct information, so you don't have to come out and like re-correct yourself about this? But Trisha keeps saying over and over not to attack the family, and that is the whole problem with this whole thing, with Ethan bringing it to light, with him tweeting about the fact that he's removing the Frenemies episode. Him and the H3 Reddit are the only reason why this family is being harassed and doxxed and all of this stuff.
It's turned into a lot, and the source of all this is the H3 subreddit. That is without a doubt where it's from. I check it like I would check up on a toxic ex-boyfriend, trying to figure out like what they're saying, what's happening next.
But, you know, first, I gotta say, Trisha, you did do something wrong. Like, you said that a person no longer living was arrested for something they never were, and now you're saying he was just fired when none of that is anything that people can seem to prove as correct. So technically you're still spreading lies about this man, or misinformation, as Trisha wants to say. And in this video, Trisha is continuing to say bad things about this teacher and his character, and then says that they won't ever talk about the situation again because of the way that people have been coming for the family, but then literally says that they don't feel bad about anything that they've said about this teacher because they're only speaking their truth about what happened to them when this was their teacher.
So I have no sympathy for what I said. I have no sorrow for that. I just wish literally families weren't getting harassed, and also I wasn't getting harassed.
And continues to blame Ethan. Says that Ethan is the whole reason why this family is getting harassed. But it's like, Trisha, it's not Ethan. It's not H3. A channel named Mysterious made a video saying that you are the one that said this man's name and brought attention to the situation, not Ethan. And you are the one that said what town this was, what school it was, and you're the one that said the teacher's name. People found him and his family because you said his information, not Ethan, not anyone working at H3. It was you that said his information. You may not feel like you did something wrong because you're speaking your truth, but you have to know, Trisha, that you are getting facts wrong about his record, and it makes you look bad when telling the story because people are constantly telling Trisha like, hey, you're lying, you're a liar, and that's frustrating to Trisha because Trisha's like, this thing happened to me and nobody is believing me, and that's all Ethan's fault. That's the whole reason why I'm triggered, is because people will not believe me, and people should believe other people when they come out about their stories. But obviously other people are like, you know, there's so many inconsistencies with the story and you need to stop blaming Ethan. And Trisha says that the whole reason that they were on Twitter having that big breakdown was because they kept getting spammed with comments of this teacher's name, and that's all Ethan's fault. Trisha, you're the one that said his name in a Frenemies episode. It's not on Ethan. It's really not. It's not on Ethan that people know his name. It is really not. And Trisha says that what really set them over the edge was the fact that Ethan told them that they needed to make a statement about this teacher to clear things up for people, and wanted Trisha to come out and be like, hey, like, you know, I really messed up here. I really shouldn't have said that he was arrested when I got bad information. And Trisha says the fact that Ethan was telling them to address the situation was just setting them over the edge. Like, they didn't want to address it because the situation was extremely sensitive to them. Later, Trisha talks about Moses, the accusations against him by this girl he used to be with, who said Moses cheated on her with Trisha. and also said that Moses did something to her that she didn't like, which people found alarming and have been wanting him to address the situation, as well as Trisha. Trisha basically tries to say that the girl that Moses was with prior to them tried to warn Moses about Trisha and their character, saying that they have, watched Trisha and their videos and know who they are. And Trisha says that they are totally aware of all the text messages between Moses and this girl and saw that Moses was talking smack about them in the beginning of the relationship. But in terms of the allegations, Trisha says that they can't talk about things that happened prior to being in Moses's life. They've worked through a lot of things and say that they can't comment on the stuff that went on before, they were ever in the picture, but understands the hurt of seeing someone you like move on to someone else. Trisha says that this girl has escalated things and it's out of control, and said that this girl said that if you're going to steal my man, at least follow me. And this girl is clearly after follows, when, in my opinion, when this girl said, if you're gonna steal my man, at least follow me, I'm pretty sure that was a joke. Like, that is not this girl being like, oh my gosh, Trisha, I love you, follow me, like, I love Moses, I love you, like, follow me. That's probably just this girl being petty, but Trisha thinks that this girl is like out for follows from Trisha and is like obsessed with Trisha and is basically just like, girl, that sucks, he didn't want you, but stop talking about me. Trisha then continues to say, like, this is the reason why girls this age shouldn't date. Like, when you're 23, 24, 25, you should not be in a relationship because the emotional irregulation is just not there. And clearly this girl is just crazy, and that there was no cheating. This girl is just misspeaking. She's just hurt that Moses didn't want her. And in terms of any of those allegations that have come out, it's like going to be addressed legally. So that's what Trisha had to say about that, and then proceeds to say that they are not hypocritical.
I'm not hypocritical.
Which made me laugh, because there are so many people that have been saying that Trisha was mad at Ethan in those text messages that they released on Twitter, because Ethan was saying to Trisha that he was taking the side of the girl coming forward about Moses, and Trisha was so mad because they were like, how come you believe this girl coming out about Moses, but you won't believe my story? You won't believe what's coming out about me. And Trisha kept saying that this girl coming out about Moses was a liar, and that they've seen all the texts and that Moses didn't do anything that he's being accused of. And it's not fair that Ethan will believe this girl over Trisha. And Trisha kept saying, it's believe all victims except Trisha. When people are like, okay, but Trisha, you're basically saying believe all victims except for people coming out about Moses. So, yikes. Now, Ethan came forward on Twitter to address some things and said, if Trisha wants me to stop talking about her, then she needs to stop lying about me. Her teacher is being doxxed for one reason only. She mentioned him by name, school, and year, and told people to look him up. She needs to take responsibility and stop blaming me for her. Trisha has accused me of sending a hate mob after her. That's literally all she's tried to do since the first day Frenemies ended. I have not even mentioned their allegations once on the podcast. She is lying and saying it's our fault. We have nothing to do with this hate mob. So obviously Trisha is still under the impression that all of this hate, all these people wanting Trisha to address stuff, is because of Ethan, H3, the crew, and it's not Trisha's fault at all. So I definitely want to know what you guys think about this whole situation. It is a lot, I know, but let me know what you think. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.